Si vede male, eh? Yeah, the light is very bad. Ce n'è pas de quoi, yeah. Ok. Facciamolo così, dai.
Facciamo così.
Sì. More than 3 years have passed since the onset of Russia's brutal, full-scale invasion against Ukraine. Throughout this time, we have witnessed immense suffering and serious violations of international law. Yet, the Ukrainian people have shown remarkable courage and resilience in defending their country and the principles of democracy. A fundamental pillar of recovery, both during and after conflict, is the restoration of security. This goes beyond removing immediate threats. It means enabling people to return home, rebuild their lives, and regain access to essential services and healthcare, education, and employment. Since the beginning of the war, Slovenia has provided humanitarian aid to Ukraine with a particular focus on medical and psychosocial rehabilitation. This includes healthcare services and psychosocial support for Ukrainian child refugees and their caregivers. We have consistently advocated for full respect for international law and accountability for war crimes. Slovenia supports all peace efforts in their principles of the UN Charter and grounded in Ukraine's sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity. Ukraine must be at the heart of any discussions about its future, and Europe must remain actively engaged in shaping European security. Reconstruction is not only about rebuilding physical infrastructure. It is about restoring hope, fostering economic resilience, and laying the foundation for a modern, sustainable, and inclusive Ukraine. In addition to humanitarian assistance and cooperation with its international partners, my country is actively contributing to a range of Slovenia-based institutions and foundations. The Center for European Perspective supports capacity building and knowledge exchange with Ukrainian public institutions under the ULEAD umbrella. ITF, Enhancing Human Security, is involving in humanitarian demining, rehabilitation, and post-conflict recovery efforts. The Slovenian CMCR supports displaced and orphan children by building foster homes and community-based care facilities and shelters. The Slovenia-based International Organization Center of Excellence in Finance contributes to strengthening public financial management and building institution resilience in Ukraine. Our private sector, particularly our innovative small and medium-sized enterprises, is well equipped to provide expertise in green technologies, digitalization, construction, and manufacturing. Effecting recovery will require strong partnerships among governments, international institutions, and the private sector. Rebuilding Ukraine is a vital and historic effort. Recovery is about shaping the country's future, ensuring its security, stability, and prosperity, while firmly anchoring Ukraine on its European path. Finally, Slovenia recognizes the importance of inclusive recovery and is proud to support and join the Alliance on Gender-Responsive and Inclusive Recovery. We reaffirm our enduring commitment to Ukraine, both in the pursuit of a just peace and on its path towards European Union membership. I thank you.
Distinguished delegates, Ukraine continues to endure the full force of Russia's illegal aggression. Yet its people remain resilient, and the international community's commitment to them must endure. The UK government's support is grounded in our 100-year partnership with Ukraine, a long-term commitment to its security, sovereignty, recovery, and reform. This year, the UK will provide 283 million in bilateral assistance for 2025-2026, supporting humanitarian needs, energy, stabilization, reform, and reconstruction. This brings total non-military support to over 5.3 billion since February 2022, making Ukraine the largest recipient of UK bilateral aid. Security underpins recovery. The UK government is proud to sign a 2.5 billion UK export finance-backed agreement with Thales, supporting the long-term supply of light multi-role missiles to help Ukraine defend, deter, and build the foundation for sustainable recovery. The UK continues to lead on humanitarian action. This includes an extension to our 4.3 million partnership with Halo Trust on humanitarian demining, enabling Ukraine to reclaim land and rebuild safely. The UK government also champions an integrated approach to the humanitarian development support, advancing an inclusive shock-responsive social protection system. Close collaboration with Ukraine, donors, and the private sector remains central to Ukraine's recovery. The City Ukraine Hub and the Ukraine Business Compact are mobilizing UK expertise and global business. The UK government welcomes a forthcoming 30 million investment by British International Investment, BII, into a major Ukraine agri holding company. Local action remains at the heart of recovery efforts. The UK is proud to support Ukraine's regional recovery through a new transport reconstruction support package, delivering expert-led strategies in Kharkiv and Lviv to help rebuild greener, smarter, more connected transport systems and to unlock future investment. A critical enabler of investment is insurance. The UK has led efforts to resolve insurance and reinsurance capacity and welcomes the MOU between the government of Ukraine and global reinsurance industry as a positive step forward. On energy, the UK has committed over 400 million, including 84 million to the Ukraine Energy Support Fund to date. We are committing an additional 1 million to the Green Transition Office and 430,000 to the UNGC Ukraine Energy and Climate Programme, supporting green transition and private sector engagement. The UK government is also advancing legal and governance reforms through a 10.5 million governance reform programme, the UK-Ukraine Legal Bridge, and continued support for the DREAM platform. Despite the circumstances, Ukraine continues to innovate. The UK is proudly backing Ukraine's AI Centre of Excellence with an additional £400,000. The UK government remains a steadfast partner. Together, we will help Ukraine recover, rebuild, and thrive. Thank you.
Do you need to test audio? Audio good? Video good? Can you see my eyes? Okay, good. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a word that matters, respect, and a feeling too that we all share, admiration. Respect for the courage of the Ukrainian people and admiration for their resilience, their resolve, and the unshakable hope that they display even after more than 3 years of full-scale war, even as bombs still fall, even as lives are lost every single day. Since 2022, Ukraine has endured the unimaginable, and yet it stands. It stands tall for its freedom, for its sovereignty, and for the values we all claim to defend. Today, more than ever, Ukraine needs us, not just to resist aggression, but to rebuild hope, to rebuild homes, to rebuild futures. Rebuilding Ukraine is not a luxury, it is a necessity and it is a duty. The destruction of the country is staggering, over 500 billion euros in damages, entire regions in ruins, schools, hospitals, power plants reduced to rubble. But the deepest scars are invisible, families torn apart, communities uprooted, a generation growing up in the shadow of war. That's why Belgium believes we do not wait for peace to rebuild. We rebuild to help peace take root. We act now, not just because we can, but because we must. Rebuilding now means giving the next generation of Ukrainians a reason to stay, a reason to believe, and a reason to dream. Since 2022, Belgium has mobilized over 2.2 billion euros, and we are committing 1 billion euros per year between 2025 and 2029. Our support spans military aid, humanitarian relief, macro-financial assistance, and protection for the most vulnerable, especially women, children, and veterans. But just as vital is our commitment to long-term recovery. Let me share 3 ways we're turning that commitment into action. First, through Enable, our development agency, Belgium is on the ground, not just with promises, but with progress. With our Be Relief program, we are restoring schools, hospitals, and public buildings. Over 400 of them have now been equipped with power generators, mobile boilers, and resilient heating systems. We're investing in energy efficiency because every kilowatt saved is a step towards sovereignty. Here in Rome, we sign 6 MOUs with Ukrainian ministries, energy, health, education, economy, and infrastructure, to strengthen public services and empower local governments. We also partner with VITO, Belgium's leading research institute, to turn local mineral waste into sustainable construction materials. Secondly, reconstruction means jobs, stability, growth. That's why Belgium is also investing in Ukraine's private sector. Here, BioInvest signs its first agreement in Ukraine, a 5 million loan to Bank Lviv supporting SMEs that are the backbone of Ukraine's economy. These businesses create jobs, they pay taxes, and they keep communities alive. We know the risks, we also know the rewards, economic, social, and human rewards. With the EU's Ukraine facility, we're mitigating risk and multiplying impact. And this is just the beginning. More investments will follow in green energy, sustainable agriculture, and financial inclusion. Thirdly, we are not alone here. With me in Rome today are Belgian companies in logistics, defense, energy, and construction. They are here to listen, to learn, and to build partnerships. Team Belgium is not just a slogan, it's a shared commitment from government to business, from civil society to academia, to stand with Ukraine in every way we can. And a final word, for the future of a generation, let's be clear, we are not here for charity, we are here for justice. We are here because we refuse to let brute force redraw the map of Ukraine. Because we believe that a child born in Kyiv today deserves the same chances as a child born in Brussels. A future in their own country, in peace, in dignity, with hope. Ukraine is fighting for survival. Let us help it live and let us help it thrive. Thank you.
Perfetto, perfetto.
My congratulations. My congratulations. My congratulations. Thank you.
Today's the 11th.
Yeah, can I play around with this a little bit? All right. Is this okay? You can hear me? Okay. On the occasion of the Ukraine Recovery Conference, I would like to take this opportunity to emphasize Luxembourg's unwavering commitment to Ukraine. Ukraine has shown a remarkable strength, resilience, courage over the past 3 years, and despite of relentless attacks, Ukrainians have never wavered. They are fighting not just for their country, but for all of us in Europe and for the shared values of freedom and democracy. As we all have heard these past days, this 4th edition of the Ukraine Recovery Conference comes at a critical time. It's not just about rebuilding infrastructure, but also about strengthening political commitment. That's why we're all here repeating our commitment to support Ukraine. Luxembourg remains concentrated at the moment on humanitarian assistance and recovery support to Ukraine. This has an amount of about 108 million euros so far since the start of the Russian invasion. There is a call here for robust reconstruction funding to complement the humanitarian work. We need durable solutions, early recovery. We need solutions that are directed to the future as well, and which will in time prevent the use of the need for humanitarian aid. So we're looking not only for what we can help today, now, but also to we look further ahead in the medium and long term. A few areas of where the focus for Luxembourg is. The first one is humanitarian demining. It's one of those subjects which are already between humanitarian aid, development, peace. We've been very active in this field. There have been contributions of about 12.5 million euros since the start of the war. Mine risk awareness, education, demining equipment, and also the governance support of the demining sector. For us, land clearance is an important prerequisite for both humanitarian aid to be delivered safely, and a basis also for medium and long-term recovery. Another dimension, I guess, that a lot of speakers have talked about is energy. Both focus on the immediate, again, humanitarian needs of the population, energy equipment, but also make sure that in the long term, the energy supply for Ukraine is resilient and independent. For the moment, our contribution to the sector amounts to about 18 million euros. Education is a focus of all our development aid efforts throughout the world. The same is true in Ukraine. We need to work at the same time on these subjects. Then we work on more security related issues. The mental well-being of students and teachers is, of course, in jeopardy in a war setting. Equipment for schools, bomb shelters, energy infrastructure again. This work for Luxembourg is concentrated on the Krivi region, and this is a bilateral project which is actually, it's for the amount of about 56 million euros, and it is the largest single project that Luxembourg is doing anywhere in the world. This is complemented recently by a support for the Olena Zelenska Foundation. This support is focused on helping large foster families with humanitarian aid, housing, education, and reinforcement of the health sector. Then there's something which is something more specific to what Luxembourg can do, and that is we are building in Luxembourg a whole cluster in the humanitarian field, concentrating on data and cybersecurity, especially in zones of conflict. We have a few projects going. One is already realized, and that is the establishment of a cyber space delegation by the ICRC, the International Red Cross in Luxembourg. We also have innovative projects, innovation in demining tools and technologies, which are meant to increase the safety of mine action operations and accelerate the demining process. We're working on satellite-based observation technologies that deliver data that can be used by both humanitarian and development actors. And finally, Luxembourg is a large financial center, as you know, so we are working very much on inclusive finance. We're providing financial support through the Luxembourg House of Financial Technology to help Ukrainian fintech companies achieve social and financial inclusion objectives. The Financial Technology Transfer Agency, ATTF in Luxembourg, is mobilized all these actors, there is a whole ecosystem for that in Luxembourg, and we are leveraging that in favor of actors in Ukraine. Our reconstruction efforts are meant to be increased. We are mobilizing as far as we can the private sector, establishing linkings between Ukrainian and Luxembourg actors. That will diversify our cooperation. We have long-standing experience, as I mentioned, in the inclusive financial sector, in the research and development, and a whole array of support activities in favor of the private sector. Let me conclude by saying that it will be essential for us to maintain the momentum of all these support areas. So not just in the coming days, but over the long term. When you look at what the news is in the world, there is emergencies popping up left and right, and the risk is that Ukraine conflict is sidelined, that we're always concentrating on different emergencies. For us, a safe and thriving Ukraine is a necessity. If we want to have a safe and thriving Europe, we will not forget the Ukrainian context. We will be at the side of all our Ukrainian friends, and let me use a slogan that has been extremely much used these days, which is Slava Ukraini, and conclude by that. Thank you very much. Applause.